Hi, and welcome to the Serial Killers podcast. It's a podcast all about the pests, diseases and problems that affect arable crops. Each week we're going to do a deep dive into one of those particular problems. Hi Josie.
Hello.
So today's serial killer is Brome, and I've chosen Brome because it's a really good contrast to blackgrass, which we've done previously. One of the key features is it's got massive seeds, and blackgrass is notorious for its tiny seeds, and blackgrass is not related to cereals closely. So if you look on a family tree of grasses, blackgrass is at the other end and cereals are at the other end. Whereas Brome is very closely related to all cereal crops. So that makes control and the diseases it gets very similar to cereal. So it's a good one to choose next. So how do we identify Brome?
Well, there's different types of brome.
Yep.
So firstly, it's important to identify which type of brome that you do have. So there is a barren sterile brome, Anisantha sterilis. Yep. This grows to approximately 1 metre in height. And in the UK, this is the type of brome that is most abundant.
And it's called barren or sterile, not because it doesn't produce fertile seeds. It's called barren and sterile brome because it's really nasty for animals to eat. Is that right?
Yeah, not as nasty as grape brome.
Oh, right. And things like it gives them stomach upsets, does it?
Yeah.
Or can even perforate their stomachs, things like that?
That's rip cut brome. That's the grape brome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So unfortunately, sterile brome is not sterile. There was soft brome. Was that the other one?
Soft brome,
Yep.
Bromus hordaceus. This is a very common grass, and it's spread throughout the British Isles, mainly in lowland areas. And you can actually buy seeds of this that you can plant as wild plants.
Yep.
Soft brome is on all cultivated land,
Yep.
but it has become a problem in cereals. So while it's been tolerated otherwise, and you can buy it and plant it, it's a problem in cereals.
And so brome's got these really large seeds, so it's not going to be flying in the air, in the wind, but it is. So where are we going to get brome going into our crops from?
So brome does spread from the field margins, so it's really important to maintain your field hygiene and look at your field margins and to avoid it spreading.
It'll come in on straw as well, won't it? So,
Yeah. Straw can hold large amounts of viable seed, as can manure as well.
So it's not something that's going to come in on machinery as much like blackgrass. Blackgrass has got like this very small, highly static electrostatic seed that will just attach to surfaces. Whereas brome is just so big that it's like it can be up to 2 centimeters long. Some of the seeds.
No, but still, you should maintain good field hygiene by cleaning down your machinery before moving field.
So for arable crops, damage will be around 2 to 2.5% in a yield drop if you've got 3 plants per square metre. However, one issue that's not really covered in any of the literature is the fact that it's so closely related to cereals, and that means it will be a vector for many of the diseases that affect cereal crops. So blackgrass we talked about previously, and we said it's a vector for ergot and for take-all. And that was a very unrelated plant to cereals, whereas brome's extremely closely related, so even more diseases are going to be carried. So that's the main reason I would control brome. And then it's more of an issue for livestock farmers, where it's going to cause that ripping of the guts of the animals.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's why it's called rip cut brome. The spiky, stiff horns literally perforate the intestines of animals when they eat it. So.
Nasty.
Yeah, not nice.
Cool.
However, meadow brome is rarely seen in spring crops, but is a big problem in winter cereals.
All right. Mm-hmm. And rotation is key. So it's got the seeds aren't viable for long, so they break down. 90% loss in viability after a year. Late drilling is an option to control that with non-selective herbicides. However, you obviously got a yield compromise there if you're sowing seeds later.
Deep cultivation by burying the seed
Yeah.
at least 15 centimetres down, that will actually...
So here's another one where ploughing is actually going to be of benefit, but obviously not an option for min-till, no-till.
Drilling after the seed has germinated, that will...
Yeah. Did you come across any resistance to herbicides?
Not as such, I haven't.
No, there's not much data on herbicide resistance like there is for blackgrass. It doesn't seem to be spreading like blackgrass is through the countryside. It's got its habitat is verges, field headlands and waste grounds, and it does prefer well-drained sandy soils. So it's really about controlling it and hygiene. Yeah, I heard it can like compacted soils, so there's a bit difference. There's no real biological control methods, apart from maybe the odd butterfly that will eat brome, but any biological product that affects brome will also be affecting cereals.
Yeah.
So that's the reason you're going to struggle there. The Botanical Society of the British Isles will have maps of all the different brome species and where they are in the country. So
there is a lot of species of brome. We've just picked on the 4 main ones.
Yeah. And for organic farmers, they can't use those herbicides, and so increasing your seeding rate to outcompete the brome is really going to be the key.
That's right.
Feature there. Yeah. And then with climate change, it's one of these ones that's going to move towards Scotland. I think it's a...
Yeah, there's not a lot in Scotland.
Yeah.
However, Barron sterile frome is found in arable Scotland. So it's found in lowland grasses. However, like you say, it's moving to other areas.
And have you got anything specific about is there anything we should know about the individual species that they differ?
They all grow at different heights.
Yeah.
And they're basically all a increasing problem in field margins.
Yeah.
But not really.
So there's nothing about the soft brome that's radically different to the giant brome or anything like that. So they'll all be controlled the same way and things like that.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Bromus interruptus? Bromus interruptus, or the interrupted brome, became extinct in the wild in the UK in 1972.
Oh, right.
So it was a very well executed eradication there of Bromus interruptus. And one of the problems is bromes are not very ornamental, so there's no one going around protecting the bromes.
Oh, right, not putting them in their nice little flower displays.
No, and so they said, Jacques Cousteau said, one protects what one likes, and one likes what enchants us. And so the brome suffers because it doesn't enchant anyone.
No.
And one of the problems there is it's got this very loose panicle, so it's not like a tight seed head like you see in cereals or with even blackgrass. It's very loose, and so if you grow it, it doesn't really grow on its own. It needs other plants around it to keep it up, and then it grows above them.
Hence the headlands and field margins and waste grounds.
Oh yeah, I did think of one other control method. It was a lot of the weeds, especially the grass weeds in cereal crops. They're pioneer species, so they like waste grounds, as we said.
Yeah.
And often these species are non-mycorrhizal, and so they suffer when there are mycorrhizal fungi in the soil. And that's I've got an agronomist up in Inverness way, and he's looking at this concept because he believes that one of the best ways to control weeds in organic crops is to make sure they've got a good mycorrhizal network. So that could be one area where min-till, no-till farmers have an advantage, is there will be more mycorrhiza because you're not disturbing the mycorrhizal network by ploughing it every year. So could outcompete, and the fungi might even actively inhibit the growth of the bromes.
All right.
So, and that's been shown in a number of sort of pioneer communities. It's not just wasteland. Things like when glaciers retreat, the species that often come into those situations are non-mycorrhizal, and then the mycorrhizal species appear afterwards. So, might be watch this space, and that'd be an area where it's developing in the organic sector.
Absolutely.
Cool. Any fun facts about brome to finish us off?
I haven't got any fun facts other than the ripgut brome, which just sounds horrendous.
Yeah. It's also called chess grass. Did you hear this?
Chestgrass.
And I think that's just because it's a mispronunciation of cheatgrass.
Well, soft brome
Yeah.
is an annual, also known as blubbergrass,
Blubbergrass, that's a good name. I like that.
lopgrass, or soft chess.
Soft chess. And one thing we didn't talk about is it can be a biennial, can't it? So,
Yes, they are either annuals or biennials.
So, but that's really not going to be an issue for field crops because it'll be killed when the crop's
No.
harvested.
I think it depends on how it's controlled. If the seeds are on the surface, then you've got the predators as the birds. So that will control that, won't it?
Another issue for that is that if you have got it as a reservoir for disease, then those diseases will be in that plant for 2 years and could be transferred from the field margins into the crop. So it's not like a plant that's, when the plant dies, the disease will die with it.
Mm-hmm.
Things like, rusts are going to be there for a long period of time in the plant, living off it. And so another reason to control brome.
A lot of these issues, pests and diseases, come from the field margins and the headlands, and it is really important to maintain your field hygiene.
But so many of your predators of your pests and diseases also come from
it's
the field
very
margin.
difficult, isn't it? It's that fine balance.
Making sure they contain the right species. Brilliant. All right. Thank you very much, Josie.
Thank you.
That's been Brome. And I think next week we're going to do the peach potato aphid. So that should be
Peach
interesting.
potato aphid, absolutely.
Brilliant. Look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.